Hello Malaysians, bit of good news today. We have this lady, this sister-in-law of Gordon Brown, I believe, who started radio station to broadcast to all Malaysians. This is the first time in 65 years that Malaysia has got a media that is independent of the government. For 65 years, UMNO has restricted, or UMNO has shut out from comments any views that are not consistent or not flattering to UMNO. So this is a very welcome move at this particular time, because the 13th general election is coming up, and I hope more of our Malaysian people, our Malaysian brothers and sisters, will make use of this radio station to broadcast their opinion, because Malaysia needs a change in the government. We cannot go on with UMNO any longer, because Malaysia is going broke. Malaysia will just spiral into the shit heap if Malaysia doesn't get a new government in the form of Pakatan Rakyat. Well, I support Pakatan Rakyat. I mean, there's nothing to hide about it, because I believe they have very competent people. Dato Sri Anwar, Niza, Tony Phua, Lim Guan Eng, Lim Kit Siang, the Gobinda, Dio, and his father, Kapal Singh, and all these people, not to mention that lovely lady, what's her name? My memory is not so good, really. So I cannot, I can't call to mind the ladies in the opposition camp. I can only, I'm more familiar with the men of the opposition camp. Anyway, that aside, this is a good time for us to at least get some airing of the views of the opposition. Don't stick to the government media, RTM3 and, all these other stuff. It's all bullshit, because they do not report facts. They concoct stories that are supportive and favorable to UMNO and their gang. So give full-hearted support to Mrs. Brown, or Miss Brown, or whatever her name is. She's a sister-in-law of Gordon Brown. I don't know whether she's married to the brother or not, or whatever. Oh, that doesn't matter. Give her 100% support. She seems to be sincere, because anybody in the world with a right brain on her shoulder will know that UMNO has distorted, UMNO has created UMNO has turned themselves into a monster, that oppress all the non-Malays, and the Malays, well, the Malays, they don't know that they've been oppressed. You see, all this talk about privileges going to the Malays is all mere talk, because there are 23 million Malays, and all the goodies cannot go to the 23 million Malays. It just goes to a handful of them. If you can count up to 100,000 of the Malays getting privileges under this nonsense of Bumiputra policy, then you will know that in actual fact, UMNO is not doing the Malays any favor. You see, let's be frank about it. I will not try to flatter the Malays, and I will not. What I say that is not favorable or not flattering to the Malays is a statement of fact. Let's put it this way. You know, you need a commercial class. And among the Malays, there is no commercial class. There is no, if you say there's a Malay Chamber of Commerce, tell me how many of these Malay Chamber of Commerce are successful businessmen. Businessmen who succeeded by their own sweat and brow, by their own efforts, by their own vision and initiative. I don't think there are many. You know, what they have done is to serve as a sort of middleman. They get the government contracts and they skim off the top 10% or whatever, you know, and leave the work to be done by the Chinese. Let's face it, you know, the Chinese are the ones who do all the work, who take all the risks and put out all the capital. Whereas the Malay, he just sits bakshi and he doesn't do anything. He just collect rent, as you say, you know. So that's totally out of the question. Malaysia, if you have a good commercial class, you can expand. Why is it for 65 years you Malays have not been able to progress sufficiently to claim that you are independent of any government support or crutches? Who can say that among the Malays? You are all ensconced in the civil service, in the police, in the military, you know, everything in the teaching profession, everything. All these, you see, these positions, they are not positions that will generate wealth. They just give you an income, a pay, a salary. You may be getting very good pay as a top Division 1 civil servant or whatever. About how many civil servants are there, you know? So you get a bloated civil service of 1.5 million people for 28 million Malaysians, whereas Taiwan has a similar number of people, 28 million, but they have a civil service or a government service of only 500,000. So there you go. In other words, you are 3 times less efficient than the Taiwanese. You see, that's bloody nonsense, because you know, you are employed to count clips. You turn pages and, you know, have coffee and joke and all that. I've been to the government department. You get an office full of employees, everybody just walking around, you know. It's just nonsense. So you need a change of government. Don't take offense, you Malays. Listen to what is the truth. You have not progressed in 65 years. That is a truth in itself. You have not progressed sufficiently to claim to be anything but third world. So how can you say you are successful? How can Mahathir say that you have been successful? You see, Mahathir is the worst of all those who have regressed the performance of the Malays. Mahathir is the man. In history will judge him very sorely. I mean, but that's beside the point. You know, he is still calling the shots, because right now Mahathir has in mind to push his son up to become Deputy Prime Minister to Mahyuddin. You see, if Najib does poorly, then he will push Mahyuddin up to become President of UMNO and consequently Prime Minister. And the understanding is Mahyuddin will make his son Mukhris Deputy Prime Minister. You see, that is how it is. Is he a man of substance? Has he got skill? Has he got talent to become an effective Prime Minister of Malaysia? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, really, you know. So, in actual fact, Mahathir has perpetrated so much nonsense, but it's a ridiculous thing that you Malays have not been able to see through him. You see, that's the worst part of it. You see, he's everything that you don't want. You don't want a non-Malay to be Prime Minister, he's an Indian. You don't want a non-Malay to succeed to become the next Prime Minister. His son is a son of an Indian. And he will be the next Prime Minister if Mahathir goes up there. But you see, to prevent this from happening, you Malays too will have to join up with the opposition to vote UMNO out of government. Vote UMNO out of government so that this nonsense doesn't carry on. You see, Malaysia needs a honest-to-goodness government that will incubate an honest-to-goodness commercial class of business people who will generate sufficient profit and income, GDP for the nation as a whole. And that way, all will enjoy. Not only the Malays, but all will enjoy. Because right now, it is only lip service to say the Malays are enjoying all the comforts, you know, that Malaysia can afford. But that's not true. Because as I said, there's only a core elite who are connected to UMNO people, and this one here connected to this Dato, and so on, you know. And this is only a very small number. If you can say 500,000, that's a lot, you know. But I don't think there's 500,000 of these people. But, you know, because Malaysia cannot afford to have 500,000 of this type of people, you know. Well, you haven't progressed, and you are still third world Malaysia, and you are still poor Malaysia. You are poor, don't forget it. You think you are rich, you think you are successful, but you are not, you know. Success is to be like Singapore, or to be like Hong Kong, or to be like Taiwan. That is success. Or now, to be like Thailand. Thailand is overtaking you by leaps and bounds. They are miles ahead of you. And so too Vietnam, you know. Malaysia, you are languishing at the bottom of the barrel. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not, because I'm actually speaking to the Chinese, you know, voters. Well, I don't want to go too long because my clips have been rejected because it's past 20 minutes. But let's see whether this one will work, will be less than 20 minutes or not. Bye.